Amigues, amics, ben tornats després de la pausa estival i octubre significa només una cosa, aquest Liceu, bueno, significa moltes altres coses, però significa l'Akhnaten de Philip Glass i aquí millor que el nostre Akhnaten, Anthony Roth Costanzo. We're so happy to have you here.
Nice to be here, thanks for having me.
The Akhnaten of the 21st century, at least of this part of the 21st century. I mean, I saw you already in New York, I'm gonna see you here, I'm super thrilled. But we always start all the interviews with the same question, which is what got you into opera? I mean, how you ended being a countertenor?
Well, you know, I was on Broadway as a kid doing theater, and then I was asked to do an opera, The Turn of the Screw. And I found it so fascinating. It was so psychologically complex, and my parents were both psychologists. And I realized I could express much more with opera, much more emotion, and much more of myself. And I was drawn to it right away because the music had that possibility. So I followed this path, and I did many things. I did film, I went to university, I studied lots of different things. But still, opera is what calls me, and it's the unification of so many art forms. You know, ballet was made in opera. You have art in the set design, you have fashion in the costume design.
Sure.
You know, there's so many things involved in opera.
And you are truly a Renaissance man because like you are dealing with managing an opera house as well and performing and everything. I mean, how do you juggle everything in your schedule? Because it has to be like, I mean, to me, it looks like, oh wow. Like you just have to go to bed like super exhausted.
Yes, every day. But it's funny, we have a series of pictures, I'll show you, of me running the opera company in Philadelphia that I run from the stage of the Liceu. Because at every break, I'm on my phone sending emails, and then I work until 2 a.m. in the morning, you know, because America is up. So there's a lot of juggling. But why do I do it? Because I feel this impulse to change opera, for opera to have the maximum impact, to reach as many people as possible. And in order to do that, we have to think really creatively. And artists, I think, as leaders, is important in some parts of the industry.
True.
So that the creativity is not only in what's on stage, but in the business models, in how the art form communicates to the audience, and the logistics involved in that.
But following up on this, that is very important that you said, I mean, like you are playing a character who was a person who revolutionized like the status quo of everything in that country at the time. But how do you think you can revolutionize, and how do you think it's a new paradigm of opera that you can bring your fresh perspective, fresh in the sense of, you know, younger than average, and change something?
This is such an astute question because, of course, Akhnaten, he changed the way that society functioned. He made religion monotheistic. He was the first monotheist, as far as we know, and this was before Judaism and Christianity and the Muslim faith. So very early, Akhnaten was the first monotheist. And then he changed lots of things. Some we would consider good today. He elevated women to be in a higher position. But he also did things people didn't like. And so the question that I feel we can ask in this production of Akhnaten is, was he good or bad? Did he create a progressive, visionary, new way for Egypt? Or was he a cult leader? And it's very interesting now, I'm a leader myself. And you go between wanting to tell everyone what you think is right and wanting to listen to them, give them their own initiative, and ultimately find the change from community. And both of those, I think, are valuable perspectives. In terms of what I am changing, what I'm revolutionizing, first, of course, there's the art itself. How can we tell more stories, whether we're using an old opera and a new production and reimagining what that canonical piece of opera can say, or whether we're creating new opera with new composers and new voices and who's singing and all of that. More importantly, in Philadelphia, we did something amazing, my very first year. We made every ticket for every show, box, front row, any ticket you want, $11 or pick your price.
Wow.
And we went from an opera company that was $4 million in debt, and we had 12 weeks to raise $4 million or we were going bankrupt, and we were only 30% sold, to the only sold-out opera company in America, and we ended our fiscal year, my first year, with a $2.4 million surplus. So
congratulations. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you. We turned it around, and the excitement came from having the house full of people, and those people were 69% under 45 years old. They were 67% first-time ticket buyers. So in order, in America at least, to bring opera into the zeitgeist, to make it culturally valuable, we have to make it feel like it's for everybody. And that it is not this small elite thing, that it is not a very specific vision, but that it can reach lots of different people and be many different things, which it always has been. I'm not trying to eradicate tradition the way Akhnaten did. I'm trying to embroider it and make it something that has sustainability.
Absolutely, for sure. And going back to Akhnaten, you've played this production several times, so you've performed it. Every time is different, or has the character grown so much on you that it's...
No, every time is very different. In fact, every show is very different because I'm always responding to the energy of the audience, but also you'll see that we move so slowly and so ritualistically. And so in that suspended time, your thoughts and emotions are different every day. And instead of ignoring them and doing something prescribed, I try and go with the character and bring the audience with me. But in this performance, there's something that's very different from all the others that I've done.
Tell us.
Well, you know, Philip Glass says that the hymn to the sun, the central piece, is meant to be sung in the language of the people who are hearing the opera. And we've only ever done it in London, New York, and Los Angeles.
Okay.
So we've only done it in English. And that's, you know, it's the only thing in a colloquial language. Everything else is in an ancient language. And the reason, I think, is because it's in Akhnaten's head. It's a prayer, in a way. And so now we're in Barcelona, and so I've learned the hymn in Català.
Bravo.
And so we will sing it in Català. And I think it's one of the first times that, from a non-Spanish composer, we sing something at the Liceu in Català. So it's very exciting. It's scary for me because I want to get all the pronunciation perfect. You have some exciting vowels and consonants which are more challenging, but it's an interesting mix. So every day I get a little better, and I'm excited to sing in this language, in this theater. It feels ancient, and I feel all of the sort of spirits of ancient Egypt meeting the spirits of the Català culture.
Oh, I'm telling you, the audience will be rooting for you, so there you go, for sure. Within your facet of, you know, being the director of the opera and doing promotion of opera for everyone, as well, I'm trying to rally a lot of people to come see this opera, but, you know, some people are telling me, you know, it's 1984, but is this opera? What is this? Like, and I'm telling them, you should come, it's fascinating. What do you say? How do you engage them to go watch something as fascinating as Akhnaten for people who might not know what it is?
Well, I've sung hundreds of operas, and I think this may be the best of all of them I've ever sung. And this production is a transformation. You will leave the theater in a different place, in a different state of mind. Even if you think you hate Philip Glass, if you think you hate modern opera, it is such a revelation. And I have to say, we've converted many people. I have a 2.5-year-old who loved this production, and I have a very old person who doesn't like anything but Verdi, who came and said, you know what? I love that opera. I think it is such an unusual experience, one that in the first 10 minutes of the opera you might think, I have to get out of here, I have to go home. But if you let yourself surrender both to the music and the stage picture and take your mind away from checking all of your phone, your apps, your text messages every minute, and the way that the mind fires like this, and instead we get this different kind of perception that makes us remember what life is about, have some perspective on this crazy world that we're all in. True. I think it's actually important, and it's also quite thrilling.
And I'm telling them that, you know, it's even calming music. I mean, the repetitions of Glass, it's very much, you're getting into a Zen state while you're just getting amazed at what you're seeing and what you're listening on stage. So I think it's fantastic. Last question, because you're being super generous and you have to go rehearse for opening night. After a hectic day, how do you just unplug from everything? Because, I mean, how do you relax? I know it's a very cliche question, but I mean, in your case, I really have to ask it because you are doing so many things.
You know, I don't get a lot of time to relax, and I'm usually working until the minute I close my eyes. But I've done something really amazing in the past year, and I just finished. I've written a book, and I find it so calming because I shut off all my devices, and I sit and I write. And the book is called Countertenor. There's never been a history of this voice type, and it's also a personal history of my journey for a company called Farrar, Straus and Giroux that will come out next year. So I hope we'll translate it into Catalan.
Yes.
But this experience of writing it is the way to really return to myself from all of the places I travel in my mind and in my work and over email. It returns me to myself, and I find it very calming.
That's amazing. I mean, it's more work, but still, you know, as long as it's calming you, that's what we're hoping for. Thank you very much for your time, Anthony. We can tell you have many amics and amigas rooting for you, waiting for the premiere. I know they are going to be super happy that we are interviewing you, so thank you for being so generous to all of us. Thank you very much.
I'll see you all at the Opera House. I can't wait.
Adeu, amics. Adeu, amigas.